So on the topic of the laws being confusing, they can actually just ask their parole officers or police officers to clarify the laws. A lot of the laws that require the felons to apply to get their jobs back, to get their voting rights back, require that they go through their parole officers first. So they would be familiar with the process. They would have the necessary paperwork needed to be filled out. On the topic of helping them reintegrate into society, voting rights is not very useful in reintegrating into society. Maybe it makes them feel like they're more of a part of society, but they have bigger issues to attend to, like getting jobs. Our opponent stated that they have difficulties getting jobs and finding housing and all that stuff, but that's not the voting rights. That's just the inherent distrust society has for felons, because people don't want to employ people they think have committed crimes like murder, rape, fraud, and so on. People don't want to live near people who they think have committed serious crimes and just aren't trustworthy. One of the things brought up is that felons have to pay fines, and they are unable to do that because of unemployment. Again, that's not the law's fault, and also there's only 3 states which have that law, that they have to pay these fines, and I think that just goes to prove that they haven't quite paid their debt to society, because they still technically owe the government money. Also, their debt isn't only to society, it's also to the people that they have victimized. For example, PBS documentary on prison states that, gave an example that in the aftermath of murder, families need some kind of sense of balancing justice. Exactly what that justice might entail differs from survivor to survivor, but all agree that they expect a realistic expression of regret and concern from the criminal justice system. All too often, that is not forthcoming. They say that our opponent says that felons have been rehabilitated, but the same PBS documentary states that in prison, rehabilitation systems, we encourage criminals to place the blame for their activities and addictions on others, and we as a society do likewise. In our quest to absolve the individual from any accountability, we blame history, poverty, schooling, and parenting, right on down to the victim of the crime as well. As a result of our zealousness to shift the blame, our recidivism rate is over 50%. The rate of violent crime is exploding, and our prison populations are still growing. Even if we gave felons back their right to vote, it wouldn't change that it wouldn't change their living status, and therefore they would be more likely to re-offend. Studies have shown that there are plenty of other factors that lead to criminal conduct, to a return to criminal conduct. Dietrich Reitzes, a sociology professor, did a study that indicated that non-recidivists differ significantly from recidivists. Recidivists are people who, felons who have reoffended in their employment patterns, regularity of work, type of work, occupational mobility, their life family, particularly in terms of conjugal family, and their social relationships. Although the statistics themselves don't indicate correlation or causation, the interviews strongly suggest that in many cases the factors described had a causal relationship to reoffense, likelihood of reoffense. In the study, it found that people who could get jobs and could keep their jobs were less likely to reoffend, and people who had very supportive families were also less likely to reoffend. These are not things that can be controlled by voting rights. Also, having voting rights, citizens of the United States have voting rights inherently, but they still became felons. So if having voting rights initially didn't stop them from becoming felons, didn't give them that respect for the law, why would returning their rights to them so easily have that same effect?